Greetings Kaiju fans and welcome to another countdown. In today's episode, we'll be taking a look at my top 10 favorite Godzilla suit designs. The King of the Monsters has had a lot of different looks in his 60-year career, and it definitely wasn't easy to choose just 10. But I managed to scrounge up my favorites, so let's get started. Remember, this is all my own personal opinion. Number 10. Mecha-Goji from Godzilla 2000. I think it's kinda funny that the design in my favorite Godzilla film is only number 10 on my favorite suits list. Regardless, the Mecha-Goji suit is one of the most unique designs in the series with its giant, jagged purple spines, the alligator-like mouth, and the funky mini mohawk of spines. It's a radical redesign of Godzilla for the new millennium, but it's still familiar enough as Godzilla to work. The suit was eventually painted a lighter green for Godzilla x Mecha-Ghidorah, which is not a decision I'm fond of, but the original suit from 1999 is still worthy of this list. Number 9. Mecha-Goji from Godzilla vs. SpaceGodzilla. The second series of Godzilla films is the only series in which Godzilla remains relatively the same in design for its entirety. I say relatively because all the suits actually have their own differences and things that make them stand out amongst each other. Take the Mecha-Goji suit for example. It looks practically the same as the 1993 suit before it, but in actuality it becomes a little taller and a little thinner, giving Godzilla more of a lean posture. The eyes also become a little bigger, giving it a little more personality. Despite not being my favorite suit, it's still the sole image I've come to associate with the name Godzilla. Toho seems to think so too, as this is the Godzilla design that has been featured the most in marketing since the 90s. Number 8. Mosu-Goji from Mothra vs. Godzilla. One of the most popular suits from one of the most popular films. The Mosu-Goji suit is also the last suit from the original series to be used primarily as a villain, and it shows. This suit's face features eyes in which the pupils are positioned up towards the eyebrow, leading to some creepy looking shots throughout the film. Aside from that, I like the clawed reptilian hands, the leaner build, and the spines, which are pretty much the de facto spine design for Godzilla. It's a suit that's on almost every Godzilla fan's favorites list, and it definitely deserves that recognition. Number 7. Shin-Goji from Shin Godzilla. From one of the most popular to one of the most controversial. When the Shin-Goji design was first revealed in a Japanese newspaper before the film's release, everybody freaked out. This design was wholly unlike anything we'd ever seen before for the King of the Monsters. Some hailed it as a fresh and bold new look that breathed new life into a stagnant franchise. Others derided it and proclaimed it as the second coming of the 1998 design, a Godzilla in name only. Me personally, I'm in the former camp. I think this new look is awesome. It's grotesque, disturbing, and unnerving, the perfect attributes for a film like Shin Godzilla. And don't even get me started on his amazing adolescent forms. Number 6. Desu-Goji from Godzilla vs. Destoroyah. Kind of a retread of number 9, but I just had to include it. The Desu-Goji design is a magnificent alteration to an already pretty cold pre-existing suit. The red lighting among the chest really brings to fruition just how close Godzilla is to death. It would also make for a pretty cool lamp. Are you listening, Tamashi? The suit also makes the list due to its historical significance, being the first design since 1954 to be featured in a film where Godzilla dies. Number 5. Shodai-Goji from the original Godzilla. The one that started it all, the original design, numero uno in chronological order, the first Godzilla. Even without the obvious historical significance, this suit is probably the most disturbingly portrayed out of all of them. His entire look is craggy, ancient, and ferocious. The uneven spines, the shorter tail, and vicious fangs make this suit design one of the most terrifying and awesome. Number 4. Legendary Goji from the 2014 Godzilla reboot. When it comes to realistic and awe-inspiring designs, none can surpass the legendary Godzilla. Now this is a Godzilla that looks like it crawled out of a trench that has been sealed for 200 million years. The amount of time and talent that was put into making this design was well worth it. After an awful attempt 16 years prior, it's fantastic that we finally got an honest and true American Godzilla design that's worthy of the name. The creative touches like the gills and the sauropod feet really bring some character to this design. Number 3. King Goji from King Kong vs. Godzilla. Another popular suit, the King Goji is the poster child for 60s suits. Featured in numerous marketing, both Japanese and American, its popularity is most likely a catalyst of being featured in the most successful Godzilla film of all time. The first color Godzilla suit, this one features the iconic spine formation seen 2 years later with the Mosu-Goji and the large and hefty frame, giving Godzilla a sizable increase in mass when compared to the 2 previous designs. I like this design because it gives me a heavy reptilian vibe with just enough dinosaur influence to make it cool. Number 2. Daisenso Goji from Monster Zero and Big Duel in the South Seas. This might be the most underrated Godzilla suit in existence. You almost never hear anyone talk about it, and personally I think it's really awesome. It's a heftier version of the 1964 suit with a rounder, more friendlier head. Sure, that might just be due to the effects team wanting the monster to appeal more to children, but it's just an aesthetically pleasing look to begin with. It also has some personal history with me, being the first Godzilla design I ever saw. A scene from Monster Zero was featured in a dinosaur documentary that I had on VHS. This was my very first introduction to Godzilla movies, so seeing this suit always brings back pleasant memories. Number 1. Ghidorah from Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. While the Daisenso Goji design may be the first one I ever laid eyes on, the Ghidorah suit was the first one I ever saw in a proper Godzilla movie. Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah was the very first Godzilla film I ever saw in full, and the first one I ever owned myself on good old VHS. I still own that very copy to this day, and it remains one of my favorite Godzilla films of all time. But aside from that, the Ghidorah suit is a monumental upgrade from the Bio-Goji suit of 2 years prior. Some people think both suits are the same, but there's actually some really subtle changes. The Ghidorah suit has a brand new head with a shorter neck, and the waist was tightened. It really makes Godzilla look much more menacing than ever before. All these attributes, plus my own personal history, make the Ghidorah suit my favorite Godzilla suit design of all time. And those are my 10 favorite Godzilla suit designs. What are your favorites? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.